what's good? Wagwan, what's good? Wagwan. Yo, tell me why you looking at me and my dog. Tell me why you looking at me and my dog. Then approach man like, what's good? Wagwan, what's good?
This is Tootbox Media. I'm Ciaran Calam and the show is Gwarn. And guess what? Sugar is poison. Now, I don't mean that as some sort of euphemism. I mean it literally is poison, which is surreptitiously placed into most foods you eat in order to make you fat, dull your brain power, and also get you addicted so you keep coming back for more too. Watch this video for more information, and if you like it, then like it, and please drop a comment and subscribe to the channel.
Did you know that for the first time in history, US children aren't expected to live longer than their parents? And did you also know that it's because the vast majority of us are now addicted to a substance that's 8 times more addictive than cocaine? One that can cause depression, irritability, inability to concentrate, fatigue, weight gain, sleeplessness, decreased libido, toenail fungus, chemical sensitivity, thrush, bloating, intestinal cramps, rectal itching, allergies, diabetes, hay fever, dementia, and ultimately death, among others. Well, if not, say a good hello to sugar, my friend. But what is sugar? Sugar is a general term used to describe a class of molecules called carbohydrates that are made of hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon and are half glucose and half fructose. Now, despite its sweet taste, many scientists today actually consider it to be a poison to the human body. And what's more, it's hidden in almost everything you eat. I seriously mean that, by the way. Food manufacturers don't want you to know how much sweet tasting poison they pump into their foods, so they often like to disguise it under different names. The next time you're out shopping, take a look at the list of ingredients of that treat you've just picked up. Anything labelled glucose, fructose, sucrose, maltose, dextrose, lactose, starch, high fructose corn syrup, fruit juice, raw sugar honey, agave nectar, or brown rice syrup are all sugars. In fact, food manufacturers use more than 30 different names for sugar, and 80% of items found in supermarkets today actually contain added sugar, including but not limited to foods like ketchup, dried fruit, yogurt, flavoured water, and granola bars. But why? Why do they insist on adding sugar to our foods if it's not healthy? Well, among other reasons, they do so because they know you can't get enough of it and fiend for it like an addict for his crack pipe. You see, when you eat something sweet, the sugars inside activate the sweet taste receptors on the tongue, which then send a signal to different regions of the brain, including the cerebral cortex. This signal then activates the brain's reward system, which in turn releases dopamine and gives you a warm fuzzy glow, which tells you to definitely do that again. It's also interesting to note that if you eat a healthy meal, dopamine will also be spiked, but if you eat the same healthy meal every day, the dopamine hit you get will slowly fall. However, if you eat sugary foods, the dopamine hit just keeps on hitting, and over time can and will overstimulate this reward system, leading to loss of control, cravings, and increased sugar tolerance. Also, there's a hormone in your brain called leptin, which tells your body when it's had enough to eat. Now, when you eat BS that's loaded with sugar, your brain finds it difficult to recognize leptin and therefore harder to know when you're full, so you just keep on eating. You literally become an addict to sugar, and henceforth the foods that the manufacturers make, they actually profit from your addiction. This addiction, of course, leads to you eating more sugar than you should and causes your pancreas to produce insulin to help regulate your blood sugar levels. But the more sugar you have in your bloodstream, then the harder your pancreas has to work. Also, most of this insulin backs up in your liver, which then slowly secretes insulin into the body. Once there, it then tells the body to stop burning its fat stores and instead absorb some of the fatty acids and glucose in the blood and turn them into more body fat. And this is why 1 in 3 US adults are obese and why cases of type 2 diabetes and heart disease have skyrocketed in recent years. Also, in the long run, this diet of overly abundant sugar consumption leads to obesity, metabolic syndrome, liver disease, and even dementia, believe it or not. It's also interesting to note that this hasn't all happened by random accident, as the powers that be have been aware of the dangers of sugar for quite some time. In the 1950s, a consortium of businesses that included Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nestle, General Foods and more ignored the series of trials that painted sugar in a negative light to falsely promote it in a positive one. They even went as far as to release a book called A History of Nutrition by E.V. McCullum, in which it was categorically stated that sugar isn't bad for your health. This helped to pave the way for a cultural mentality, which we're still largely in the grip of today. One in which it's believed that fat is the main culprit when it comes to poor nutrition, and that sugar isn't really that detrimental. But now that we know sugar's really bad for us, what can we do to stay healthy? Well, first things first, I urge you to conduct your own research on sugar and to not take my words as gospel. A good place to start will be the links that are embedded in the episode description, but by all means, do some research, scour the internet and find out the facts for yourself. However, since we're here and actually in the midst of a conversation, you will want to avoid sugary drinks, read labels carefully, exercise, do not eat low-fat foods because the missing fat is always replaced by salt and sugar. Eat more fibre. That includes nuts, fruits, vegetables and whole grains, because foods that are high in fibre tend to have lots of antioxidants. And there you have it, my friend. That's sugar for you. Ciao for now.